And I'm assuming that's when you decided to try recovery at 28? Or
Yeah.
what pushed you to try recovery at 28?
Well, you know, I grew up thinking I was never going to be like my father. And my two sons I had two sons at the time, 5 and 7, and they're like, "Dad, please, no more." And my heart just hit the floor because I was my father. And so that drove me into treatment the first time.
That's at 28?
Yeah.
You had a 5-year-old by that time. You had a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old.
So a 7-year-old, yeah.
And they said, please no.
No more. And so it was, you know, the realization that I'd become my father, maybe even the realization that I was worse than my father because he was just an alcoholic, and here I was it was alcohol and drugs. So.
Tell me, what substances are you using in outside alcohol? What else are you using at this time?
At 28, it was, you know, doing a few lines of cocaine, smoking lots of weed or hash, you know, combustibles, and drinking. You know, basically at 28, that was all I was into.
Okay, then you tried recovery. You're now in and out of recovery houses.
Yeah.
It's kind of working. Sometimes it's not.
Well, you know, my experience was, you know, I come into recovery, and, you know, my understanding of addiction then was you remove the substance and you're going to be okay.
Okay, okay.
And the reality, my reality was, you know, I got sober, and I was more angry, more frustrated, more unhappy.
That touches a powerful point. I guess then that's where mental health and substance use link. Because now, if you remove the substances, what is left?
Well, yeah, because all my coping mechanisms that I developed in my life, they worked out there in the active addiction world, and you know, they don't really work in recovery world. You know, like being aggressively angry doesn't work. People don't want to see that, eh?
So does that mean counseling and therapy is now needed there, or is it more like an exposure?
Yeah, for me it was.
Yeah.
You know, there was lots of underlying stuff, we'd like to call it, you know, later to learn that there was, you know, emotional maturity that there needed to be growth in those areas.
I think the area of PTSD is not touched upon a lot when people are talking substance use, because right here, there you are, you're saying, after we remove the substance, I'm not dealing with the underlying stuff,
Yeah.
which needs to be worked on a lot. But it sounds to me like when you realize that it's what actually maybe led to recovery being more successful.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I'm of an era that we didn't call it PTSD. You had issues. You know, later to learn that it was, you know, the aggressiveness of the upbringing. You know, it was like children were to be seen, not heard, and in our family. And, you know, there were certain family rules, and if you broke them, you know, Pops would grab a belt or a stick or whatever was handy, and you got it. You know, back then it was, they call it child abuse today. Back then it was, you got a beating.
It was a way of upbringing, right?
Yeah.